Panda's being a little sneaky here. I reviewed this a year ago until I looked at the profile and I realized that's a different profile. Brand new flavor, brand new profile, coming your way. Let's get into this. So what's happening, guys? Hope your day's going well. Today we're going to review Pandemic Extreme Pre-Workout. We're going to go over their ingredient profile. I want to go over this new flavor, blue snow cone flavor. If you're new to the channel, you like stuff like that, hit the subscribe button. Love to have you along for the ride. We're also going to go over a tip to increase nitric oxide as far as breathing wise, and also a supplement that you can actually add to a pre-workout or some L-Citrulline or something like that to lessen the degradation or the breakdown of nitric oxide to make it last longer. So before I put the ingredient profile up, let's talk about the flavor. This is the blue snow cone flavor. If I had to give this a rating, now if you guys know me, I don't really care about flavors. As long as it doesn't make me throw up or gag, it's good to me. But if I had to give this a rating, I give this an 8.5. It's got like a sweet tart kick to it. As far as the blue snow cone flavor, I honestly don't remember what a blue snow cone is supposed to taste like, but if this is what it's supposed to taste like, it's pretty damn good, and I would have a blue snow cone every single day if I could, and I wasn't a type 1 diabetic. Enough said. Let's jump into the ingredient profile. So right on the top of the label, we got 25 servings. One scoop is supposed to be 18.4 grams. And just so you know, I packed that scoop, flat leveled it, put it on a scale, and it was 17.9. So you're a little off, Panda, but hey, don't worry, guys. 0.5 grams is not going to make a big difference on the experience. So right on the top of the label, we have citrulline malate at 9 whopping grams. It's going to be a little over 6 grams of L-Citrulline, and the rest is going to be the malic acid. L-Citrulline is converted in the kidneys into arginine. Then arginine is converted into nitric oxide through an enzyme called enos in endothelial tissue. That nitric oxide is going to relax the blood vessels. It's going to help with mitochondrial respiration, which is metabolic processes that happen in the cell to convert nutrients into energy, ATP. This also helps with calcium handling, which is going to help with muscle contractions within the gym. So last but not least, all nitric oxide supplements like L-Citrulline are going to help with glucose uptake or removal from the bloodstream to the cells. And all these factors, what are they going to do during your training? They're going to improve muscle function and endurance. Then we have malic acid, which can help with energy production in the Krebs cycle or the citric acid cycle. That's because malic acid is a precursor to citrate, which is used in the cellular production of ATP. Then we have beta-alanine at 3.2 grams. This turns into carnosine, and this is a buffering agent for hydrogen ions that are produced from metabolites that have been produced or broken down, like ATP, lactic acid, within the muscles. And these hydrogen molecules are buffered away from the cells so they don't enter the cells, because if they enter the cells and they engulf the cells, they make the cells acidic. So this controls the pH balance in the cells, makes you push through more reps, more sets, and more steps during your training. Then we have betaine anhydrous, which is going to protect cells, enzymes, and proteins by regulating hydration within the cell. This hydration that's being regulated is also going to help with endurance and power output during your training, and a little bit of that cell swelling from the vasodilation pumps that you get in the gym. Then we have tyrosine at 750 milligrams. This can help with working memory, attention, well-being, reaction time, and cognition. This also helps with mental fatigue by warding off short-term mental stressors during your workouts. Then we have alpha GPC at 400 milligrams. This is a precursor to acetylcholine, which helps with the production and development of the cerebral cortex, which is going to help with working memory, short-term memory, long-term memory, cognitive function, and processing during your training. Then we have caffeine at 350 milligrams. This blocks 2 of the 4 adenosine receptors. They're located in the heart and the brain. They're the A1 and the A2A adenosine receptors. By blocking these receptors, they actually cause a stimulatory effect and a slight increase in heart rate. There are other benefits as far as with neural function, as far as cognitive thinking and processing, serotonin release, dopamine release, and caffeine actually boosts brain-derived nootropic factor, which is a protein in the brain, a peptide that is used for neurological repair on the brain. During your workouts, the best thing about caffeine, not just the awakeness or the brain function, but the release of calcium within the muscles is going to help with strength and power output during your training. Then we have theobromine at 200 milligrams. Theobromine is a very interesting ingredient. It's a cousin relative to caffeine, so it does have some stimulatory effects, but very mild as far as that goes. But it has some vasodilation effects because it helps induce enos, which is the enzyme for nitric oxide production, but it also attacks blood flow and vasodilation through a second messenger called cyclic GMP. These vasodilation and blood flow effects actually affect certain regions in the brain as well for cognitive function and focus, and it's a mild diuretic for a little bit of weight loss or water loss. Then there's dendrobium at 100 milligrams. This is a very interesting ingredient, and Panda is one of the few companies that actually uses it. This helps to slow the heart rate down and the breathing down during exercise. It also has some anti-diuretic effects, some anti-inflammatory effects, as well as being neuroprotective because it protects the brain from the toxicity of glutamate, which is the excitability chemical within the brain. Then we have Mucuna perennis at 100 milligrams. This is 98% L-Dopa. That's a straight hit to the dopamine in the brain for that feel-good sense of well-being, cognitive function and focus, wanting to get up and go. This also has some benefits on increasing hormone production because it actually attacks the hypothalamus pituitary gonadal axis within the brain for LH and FSH production down to the testes. Then we have estrogen at 50 milligrams. This helps promote tight junction functioning, a little rhyme there, and also healthy gut lining. This not only helps with inflammation within the gut, but it helps with the absorption of ingredients as well. So now we're finishing off with synephrine HCl at 50 milligrams. This is going to help with lipid release. It's going to spike noradrenaline and adrenaline within the body because this is a beta-3 receptor agonist. It does not target the 1 or the 2 receptors within the body, which are involved in smooth muscle relaxation and increased heart rate. This is supposed to just target the beta-3 receptors, which are involved with fat storage and fat release and energy production all in all. So how did this do? So you take the scoop, the beta-alanine comes in about 10 minutes. It's about a medium high level. It lasts for another 10 minutes. And that puts you in the spot about 20 minutes, 25 minutes in to where everything else starts to come together. This thing does not peak until about 55 minutes in. And what you get from this as far as energy, it's 350 milligrams of caffeine with the theobromine, nothing else, plus the synephrine. This is a smooth, long hit. It doesn't need any dicaffeine malate, so don't worry about this. It's going to last for 4 hours as it tapers off. And you taper off of it super nice. No crashing, no nothing. The hit is a consistent hit for about an hour and a half of training at 350 milligrams of caffeine with some sweating going on, some good endurance, and some good energy production as far as from the citrulline malate and all the other ingredients in here. It comes together very, very nice. This is not a super pump formula, but this is a dry vascular formula because this is designed for energy production. This is a pandemic pre-workout. This is designed to get you in there and bust a nice solid workout in a reasonable amount of time, not to hang around, shoot the breeze or anything like that, but to knock out a workout and get all your sets, all your reps in, feeling good afterwards and take on the rest of the day. And it does the job. It really does. I love the way that they put this thing together. It's simple. There's no crazy, L-theanine. There's no citrate. There's no malate. It's just a straightforward caffeine, theobromine. You got your vasodilators. You have your synephrine for some fat loss and some sweating going on. Very nicely done. Now onto a couple tips to help this nitric oxide, the vasodilation, blood flow, and all that stuff last just a little bit longer for you. So tip number 1, you want that nitric oxide to last longer? Make sure you're consuming antioxidants during the day. Nitric oxide, NOS, within the body does not last that long because of reactive oxidative species breaks it down really quickly. Antioxidants will maintain that nitric oxide production and keep it elevated for a longer period of time throughout the day. So make sure you're consuming your antioxidants during the day. One good antioxidant to take with your pre-workout before you train is reduced glutathione. There's been some studies done to where it actually increases the length of vasodilation when you couple it with L-Citrulline. Tip number 2, breathe, especially through your nose. There's a lot of nitric oxide that's actually produced in the nasal cavity. And the more you can breathe in through your nose, the more nitric oxide is going to end up in your lungs than it end up in your bloodstream. So try to do some breaths throughout the day. There are box breaths that you can do where you breathe in and then out through the mouth. 3 seconds in, hold, 3 seconds out through your mouth. Do 30 of those 2-3 times a day if you can. Make it into a little meditation time and get in tune with yourself. It helps a lot. The other thing that you can add to that is when you breathe in through the nose is hum as you breathe out. And what that does is that vibration has been shown to increase nitric oxide production 15-fold. So how about that? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time on the channel.